Hey, so it's Al Bain for Leather, and we're going to revisit the Cobra NP-4 bell skiver. So here it is again. Okay, so in response to the last little video that I did, Vince found, our good buddy Vince from the Leather Machine Company, found that after I had demonstrated this blade sharpening, that these little red marks were still left behind on my blade. And he really objects to the fact that those are there. He wants the demonstration to be that it's a perfectly clean, sharpened cut. Even though the test pieces and all the work pieces that I've been doing work perfectly well for my needs, he says that a softer leather will probably have a kind of problem cutting incorrectly or irregularly, and he thinks that my demonstration wasn't accurate enough for the overall perspective. So now what we're going to do is figure out why my blade is coming up with these bumps, okay, these unsharpened areas. Okay, so he suggested that I take a screwdriver, but I'm going to defy him and use my trusty wooden pencil so that I'm not doing metal on metal. Okay, and he said find a spot that I can line up, and he suggested going to the inside and floating the edge of the pencil or whatever against a fixed point on the blade and seeing that it doesn't wobble while the motor is running. So this is a result of a phone call. So you see the pen, or the point of this pointer. I'm trying to get the light in a little bit better. Does that look better? Yep. Okay, and I'm going to hold the pen close to the edge of the blade and spin the knife. Okay? And it does not feel like it's wobbling, like the blade is hitting it and not hitting it, hitting it, not hitting it. I feel a consistent, steady contact. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing out here. Okay? I'm going to support the pointer very, very close to the edge of the blade. Not the cutting edge, but the surface of the cut, the bevel, if you will, and run it. And it is literally a perfectly smooth surface. It's not rattling at all. So that leads us to believe that the blade is actually round. It's not been warped from too much heat or anything like that and become egg-shaped or irregularly shaped. So we move forward with confidence that it's not an issue with the blade, okay? So now the next thing we're going to talk about is the stone dressing tool. So this tool comes with your machine, and it's got these little wheels on the end, okay? And basically what we're going to do is we're going to brace it up and run the motor and the stone and redress the stone. You see, look how convenient this arm has got a cutaway so that the tool fits in there. You see that? So I'm going to run the motor, spin the stone, and grind this dressing tool on top of the stone. So let's do that. Okay? I've never done this before, so it's going to be interesting for both of us all at the same time. A little discovery moment, if you will. So, ready? Here we go. Oh, let's start the stone. So I'm going to engage the stone rotation. There we go. And then cruise over here. Set the tool up on it and get it going. Made a heck of a mess. And, wow, it really took a whole chunk of the stone off there. Now I'm going to do the same kind of thing that I did before. I'm going to brace my stick. And it doesn't seem like it's perfectly flat. It's bumping every once in a while. Like, can you hear it? Listen. It's got a little ticking sensation there. So I'm going to do it again. Seems to take a lot of the stone off all at one time. Do my little test again. I don't know. Seems straight. So let's give it a go, okay? So now we're going to rewind back to the beginning. This time we're going to go use a black pen. Okay, I'm going to draw black ink on the cutting surface. Probably raise the foot up out of the way a little better, maybe you can see. Okay, so there's that. And now let's do the whole thing. So with this knob, we're going to advance the stone. So I'm going to go full tilt. Got a weird tone in there. Hold on. So here we go. We're going to advance the stone by turning counterclockwise on this particular knob. So now we're making mild contact, and here we go. And right away you see the ink is pretty much coming right off. So now we see the sparks coming out of the side of the machine, and we're going to do this for a few minutes until the sparks stop. So I'm going to pause right now and do the 3-step cycle like before. Okay, so that's the end of step 1, and you notice that there's very, very light sparking coming out from the side of the machine, and most of the pen marks are gone. So now we're going to move on to cycle number 2. We're going to advance it about 1 to 2 degrees counterclockwise and bring the spark trail back out again. Okay, I'm going to pause again so that you don't have to watch all this nonsense. Okay, we're back at the end of cycle number 2. Again, you can see barely any sparks coming out of the side of the machine. And the blade is looking really silver and shiny now. Okay, except the leading edge looks like there's still a little bit there. So we go on to cycle number 3. The same thing applies. We're going to grip the knob and turn it counterclockwise about 1 to 2 degrees until the spark trail comes back. Here we go. There they are, and we're going to pause, so give me 1 moment. All right, so I'm back, and basically what's happened is we've gone through the 3 cycles, and now by inspecting the blade, I still see a little dash of black, much smaller than the last time, right? So it's proving that my stone indeed need to be dressed again. Okay, so I'm going to run the operation 1 more time and see what the result is. Okay, pausing again. Okay, we're back, and now we're at the very end of the procedure. Like, there's virtually no sparking. You can see that, okay? But what we want to make sure is that we never stop the blade with the stone engaging the blade. So we're going to back it off right now, okay? So I'm going to take the knob, back it off in a clockwise direction, and make sure that the stone is clearly away from the cutting edge of the blade. And now I've turned the knob, and there's clearly no contact between the blade and the stone, and I can feel confident in stopping the rotation of the blade. So now that the blade is stopped, I'm going to use the hand wheel and rotate around. Look, no more trace of black marks on the edge. Ooh, there's a tiny, tiny little bitty one. Can you see that? Right there, there's the tiniest smudge of black on the leading edge of the blade. Okay. I'm pretty sure that that's a good sharp cut. Okay, so now we have to dress the interior burr off of there. Remember, like in the last video? So I'm going to take the dressing tool, I'm going to line it up and touch the inside edge of the blade of the knife. Okay, so here we go. It's in there. I'm going to step on it full tilt. And hopefully that dressed off the burr. Okay, let me get a piece of scrap. So here's my piece of upholstery hide leather. It's pretty heavy duty piece of leather, and I'm going to put the feed dog down, Stick my piece in. Got to turn off the rotation of the stone. And here we go. Let's see what happens. Wow, pretty straight, pretty even cut. My hand, because I was using one hand, kind of deviated a little bit here, but I think we're pretty happy with those results. Let's give it another try on a slightly longer edge. One-handed is kind of tough. You have to bear with me. Real clean, consistent cut. Look at that. Okay, so when I fold it over, it's all nice and one thickness. No lump in there. Wow, so we learned something. Basically, if the blade is showing evidence of skipping, where the ink is leaving a mark, cleaning the blade, leaving a mark, cleaning the blade, leaving a mark, that the result may be from either the bell knife itself being warped from overheating, and we learned how to test it by using the pointer, by lining it up and feeling that it's not wobbling around all over the place. And we learned how to dress the roller with the sharpening stone with the stone dressing tool by sticking it in here. And for the first time, we observed that there's this notch, and it conveniently allows this dressing tool to reach in there. These guys who invent these things, they come up with everything. It's just left to you and I to figure it out kind of on a grassroots level, because, I found that this kind of information isn't available everywhere. So I do these things just to help out my neighborhood leatherworking people. We're all grassroots. We just kind of ad-lib them as we go, and don't profess to know everything, but we're more than willing to learn and study and build our community together. So with that, I'm going to bid you a good day. Suggest that you pay it forward and enjoy. Thanks again.